Hi everybody, Carl the Prado, A to Z Business IT. Hope you're having a great day today. This was just brought to my attention. It was an article or a infographic that was put out in July of this year by PrivacyAffairs.com, but it's really valuable. It shows the pricing index for the dark web. If you've been following me for a while, I talk about the dark web a lot. And what's really interesting about this is, so first of all, what is the dark web? The dark web is just basically a cluster of unindexed websites that can be that are all over the world. And it was actually developed by the U.S. Navy, and the reason for it was a way of sending information to dissidents in other countries, to get information out through firewalls and things like that. It's also, there's some legitimate reasons to use the dark web. The one that I always think about that I bring up as an example is the Washington Post has a site that they keep on the dark web for whistleblowers. So if you're somebody who likes to blow a whistle, you can use the dark web. Anyway, in all seriousness here, I really wanted to show you what the values are and why we talk about your data and it having a value. So let's just, first of all, I'm just going to go over to the legend here. So we break these down into forged documents, malware. That's the different types of software payloads that people can buy to put onto your network. Payment processing services. We have crypto accounts, getting access into those accounts. They're probably not as valuable now as they were 6 months ago because of all the stuff that's happened in the news. We have forged documents or scans of them. We have hacked services, social media, credit card data, and then we have email database dumps, just getting a hold of people's mailing lists of just emails. So let's go ahead and just start from the beginning, some of the stuff that I thought was interesting here. So let's go into payment processing services right off of here. So a PayPal account with $100 minimum balance inside of it, it's worth $10. Movo Cash, I guess that's one of them. That's worth $14. A PayPal account stolen, not just the credentials, but the details, even without a balance, is worth more than the one with a $100 minimum. $15 if you have, if they have a balance between $105 and $1,000. So actually, it's kind of funny. The one with the details is worth as much as the one with $1,000 in it, which is $5 more than the one with nothing in it. So once you go over $1,000, they go up to $20. Western Union accounts, they start off at $25. Then we also go into what was I going to say? The big ones here is a Striped account. So if you got a merchant service Striped account, that's worth $1,000 on the internet. So if you're an e-commerce site, you have one of these Stripe accounts for vendor payment, that's worth $1,000 right there off the bat. So that should be a little bit of concern for you to make sure that you're protecting that account and going through the steps to do that. So then let's talk about malware. So these bad guys, I always say you don't have to be a computer genius to use this. You basically are buying it. If you could watch this video and click on the link to join and view this video, then you have the skills to install and run this malware. And so we have low quality, slow speeds, just like anything. Android OS, you can put malware there, and it's you get 1,000 installs for $950. What was I going to say? They have, based on success rates, they have 70%. That's worth $1,200. So they're saying 70% of the time people click on these particular forms of malware, just like all software, sometimes it doesn't install correctly, but they're guaranteeing a 70%. They have an SLA. They're guaranteeing that 70% of the time those installs are going to go ahead and get the data that they need to get. Then what we have is high quality US is $1,000. If it's in the UK, it's $1,800. And then we have a premium service for $1,000, which is $5,500. So, basically the bad guy, sells your Striped account on the dark web. He can go out there and buy $1,000 worth of software right off the bat. Or when he uses this software, he's basically able to harvest all of these different things for different values out of your computers, and he's doing this at a large scale. Then let's just talk about drivers, forged documents or scans of documents. What they're looking at is getting those in there. So we've got driver's licenses. These are not legitimate. They're making a forgery out of them. And so, I found it was interesting. The U.S. driver's license is $150. It's probably because it's really easy to detect it. I bet the Lithuanian passport, which is $3,800, is harder to detect, probably because they don't have as many security features in there. But then again, I'm not a forged document expert, but I just find it interesting in the prices. Let's talk about credit card data. So a Walmart account, that's worth $10 to them. Clone Visa with a PIN. That means, you go into how do they clone a Visa card? Well, you go into one of those gas stations or something, and you swipe your card, and it actually has a cloner. And when you put the PIN in, it's actually picking that up, and so that's worth $20 a shot to them. Credit card details with somebody who has $5,000 line of credit is worth $120 on the dark web. So the other ones that I found were really interesting is social media ones. So a hacked Gmail account is worth $65. Hacked Facebook account is worth $45 and again, why are you doing these things? These allow people to go in and imposter somebody else. And so, that's what they're looking for, and that's what they're willing to pay for. And you look at these these other services, and you're like, well, why would they why would somebody buy a $5 Hulu account? Well, they buy that $5 Hulu account with passwords, and guess what? They may try and check your Gmail account, and if they're sharing the same password, bingo, they're in, or Facebook. If you're not running the right protections on that. So those are worth money there. And, so all of these little, what we call throwaway accounts, Netflix, CNBC, they may not be places where your data, is legitimately held. Well, they have a value because if they're sharing the same password with, let's say, a Gmail account, and one of the quickest ways to hack it would be to, they go to the site with your Gmail account, they try to log in, they notice that they can't get in, and then they say, forgot my password, and they have access to your Gmail account. Well, then they can get the password right there on the spot, or the codes to go through the whole process. So that's why it's worth it. Now, of course, as these things go, they're moving targets. Gmail's making some changes to make it a little harder, but there's still other services that aren't doing this. And as long as the reason that people are paying this money is because they're getting results. They're able to break in and do the things that they need to do. So again, obviously we always talk about this is you want to have a password manager, you want to have some encryption on there, and if you're running a business, you want to make sure that this is going on for all your employees. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I put a link up here in the corner. You just click on that, and that will actually, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong service. I put down below in the comments, you'll see a link that will bring you to what we call a quick call. So anyway, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.